Welcome back to another video, guys. I'm your host, Typical Pirate, and today we're going to go through all 16 Daedric artifacts and rank them one by one, worst to best. The Daedric artifacts in Skyrim are some of the most unique gear that the Dragonborn can come across in their adventure. Most of them have very unique quirks and mechanics that aren't really seen in the rest of the game. Some of these artifacts can be absolute game changers in a playthrough, while others can be very underwhelming. Let's go through all the Daedric artifacts and rank them to see which category they fall in. Let's define what a Daedric artifact actually is. For the sake of this video, I'll be ranking any item that contributes to the Oblivion Walker achievement, which requires you to get 15 Daedric artifacts. This means that the Skeleton Key and the Rueful Axe won't make an appearance in this video because they don't count towards that achievement. Since we're going to be ranking several different types of items, I'll be ranking them all on overall usefulness. Lastly, I want to hear your opinion on this topic, so make sure to comment down below if you think any changes should be made on this list. Just make sure to be respectful with your responses. One last thing, I just wanted to say thank you for 500 subscribers. I plan to do something special for 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. With that out of the way, let's get right into this. Starting this list off at number 16, we have Savior's Hide. Savior's Hide is just a really disappointing piece of light armor. To start off, it has a measly 26 base armor rating, which is similar to that of leather armor. Its enchantment is also pretty bad, granting the Dragonborn a 15% resistance to magic and a 50% resistance to poison. The 15% magic resistance won't make enough of an impact in most fights, while the Dragonborn can get that poison resistance through other means, like Shrouded Armor for example. Shrouded Armor is easier to acquire, has a higher armor rating, and benefits from the matching set perk if you wear the other pieces of the set. Very disappointing. Number 15, we have OGHMA INFINIUM. This book, when read, will allow the Dragonborn to choose between the warrior, the thief, and the mage, just like the standing stones. When chosen, it will raise 5 skill level points to all skills related to that choice. This effect is actually pretty decent, but it isn't the best on this list. It doesn't do anything unique, because you can always acquire these levels without the book if you really wanted to. There's also a low chance that it will help in all aspects of your build. For example, if you're a build that uses a one-handed sword and a destruction spell, you're going to have to pick between one over the other. Overall, OGHMA INFINIUM can help the Dragonborn, but it just isn't that special. Coming in at number 14, we have both versions of AZURA'S star. Okay, I need the commenters to clear this one up for me. A lot of people talk highly about AZURA'S star, but to me it really isn't that special. This item works just like a regular soul gem, but it doesn't get consumed when used. I don't get this item much because it just holds one soul. It doesn't seem that impactful to a playthrough. In fact, when capturing a soul, it fills up AZURA'S star before any other soul gem, which means you can get stuck with a weak soul. Soul gems also become very common later in the game. Yeah, so I don't really get this one, guys, so let me know down in the comments below what the deal is with AZURA'S star. At number 13, we have the Ring of HIRCINE. This ring allows the Dragonborn to transform into a werewolf an unlimited amount of times per day. This means that werewolf characters won't have to wait 24 hours just to get their power back. Now, it's incredibly useful when used by players who want to do a werewolf playthrough, but besides that, it really isn't that great. The Ring of HIRCINE is just about useless if the Dragonborn is a vampire lord, or if they're not a werewolf, or even if they don't ever want to use their werewolf power to begin with. So for that, I really can't put it any higher up on this list. Number 12, we have the Skull of Corruption. This staff can actually be pretty powerful, but it has an extremely annoying way to ramp up its damage. The staff starts out by doing 20 points of damage, but can be increased to up to 50 points of damage by absorbing the dreams of those who are sleeping. You have to cast the staff on sleeping targets in order to charge it up. This can get pretty obnoxious because you can drain the staff in the middle of a quest with no way to charge it up. Still, when fully charged, this staff is going to be an absolute menace on the battlefield. Number 11, we have Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is a one-handed sword that has a fire enchantment and has the chance to cause an explosion when used against undead targets. This will cause the target and others around it to flee. Dawnbreaker isn't necessarily bad, but they're just stronger artifacts on this list. It has a base damage of 12, which is the same as a glass sword. This means that it is a solid weapon around the level you can acquire it, but will be greatly outshined when you start finding better weapons. Sliding into the top 10, we have the Mask of Clavicus Vial. The Mask of Clavicus Vial is a heavy armor helmet that grants the player 10 points to speech, 20% better prices, and a 5% faster magic regeneration. That last part is meh, but the other bonuses are really good for saving a lot of money when you barter. Even if you don't use it in combat, it's a great item to keep for when you do barter. The best part about this item is that it has an armor rating of 23, which is comparable to a Daedric helmet. Yeah, I didn't even know it was this strong before making this video. Still, it is just a helmet, which doesn't make that much of an impact in the game, but it is certainly one of the best of its kind, and definitely an underrated item. Breaking its way into the number 9 spot, we have the Mace of MOLAG Ball. The Mace of MOLAG Ball is a pretty solid weapon. It drains 25 points of magicka, 25 points of stamina, and soul traps the enemy for a few seconds. Its base damage is 16, which is actually similar to a Daedric mace. This mace is definitely one of the best in the game. It does a great job of reducing magicka against mages, and from keeping other enemies from power attacking. The only downside is that it is a mace, which swings slower. This means it will be harder to quickly inflict the effects from the enchantments. This is why daggers and swords have an advantage in combat over maces in my opinion. Still, this weapon is a solid choice, and its versatility allows it to be solid in most situations. At number 8, we have the Ring of NAMIRA. This ring gives the player an extra 50 points of stamina and the ability to be a cannibal. While wearing this ring, the Dragonborn gets an option to feed on any human corpse. After you go through an animation, you get plus 50 max health and a 50% faster health regeneration effect for 5 minutes. The stamina boost alone that this ring gives you is definitely a huge plus. Feeding on corpses can help in a fight, but the animation can leave you vulnerable for a few seconds. Other than that though, it's a solid ring that can give the player some nice benefits, but it doesn't really fit every build. At number 7, we have the Ebony Blade. The Ebony Blade is a two-handed sword with one of the most unique enchantments in the entire game. It has a 10-point absorb health enchantment that raises by 4 points permanently for every 2 friendly characters that you kill, up to a maximum of a 30-point enchantment. This means to fully power up the weapon, you need to kill 10 characters that consider you a friend. The enchantment does not need to be recharged with soul gems, but to balance this out, you can't improve the Ebony Blade at a grindstone at all. It actually has the lowest base damage of all great swords by a long shot, but it has a faster swing speed, which means you're going to be able to absorb a lot of health in a fight. Especially since you can't improve this weapon at all, the Ebony Blade hits like a wet noodle in many situations. However, if you're willing to charge the weapon up, it can be a reliable weapon that does a great job of keeping you alive in a fight. At number 6, we have the Ebony Mail. The Ebony Mail is a heavy armor cuirass that has some pretty interesting enchants. It first muffles the player's footsteps, being the only non-footwear item to do so. When worn, it gives nearby enemies a poison-like effect, which does 5 points of damage per second to them. It has a base armor rating of 45, which is just 1 short of Daedric armor. The muffle effect is rather useless, since heavy armor will make it hard to sneak anyways, but the poison effect is really great because it can affect multiple enemies at once. However, its damage is pretty worthless at really high levels. It will even do less damage than flames. Still, the armor is really strong and the enchantments are really good, which is why it deserves a spot all the way up here. Just making it into the top 5, we have the Wabbajack. When used, the Wabbajack will apply a random effect to the enemy. This could range from frenzying them, to healing them, to applying a fiery explosion, or even turning them into a chicken. If you get lucky, the Wabbajack can make your life so much easier in combat. However, if you get unlucky, it can backfire pretty quickly. However, through my experiences, the Wabbajack generally helps a lot more than it hurts, and since the upside is so high, the Wabbajack has to be in the top 5 on this list. Sitting at number 4, we have the Sanguine Rose. The Sanguine Rose is a staff that will summon a Daedric warrior by your side to fight for you when casted. The strength of this warrior is determined by your level. This item can be an absolute game changer for characters not using Conjuration because it does a really great job distracting enemies for you. There isn't much of a downside to using the staff before every encounter, and the upside is absolutely incredible. Chilling at number 3, we have MEHRUNES Razor. MEHRUNES Razor has a 2% chance to instantly kill the target every time a strike is landed. This enchantment is extremely powerful on a dagger because of the faster swing speed. Because of that, you can apply this enchantment multiple times very quickly. Damage-wise, it's also pretty good. It has a damage output of 11, which is comparable to a Daedric dagger. It also has a very low weight, which means it can be saved in your inventory for those special encounters. It's nice to have no matter what character build you're using. You could argue that there are better daggers in Skyrim, but it's very hard to argue with insta-killing. At number 2, we have SPELLBREAKER. SPELLBREAKER is a heavy armor shield that allows the Dragonborn to block spells without spending magicka to make a ward. When the shield is held up, it can block up to 40 points of spell damage. This effect works just like a regular ward. Besides this unique effect, SPELLBREAKER is actually the best shield in the entire game. This, plus the ward effect that the shield provides, makes it easily the best shield in the entire game in my opinion. While in the end it is just a shield, the ward effect can be used for any character with any build. It's great just to have it in your inventory for when you need to use it. The king of our list, sitting at number 1, we have Volendrung. Volendrung is the best Daedric artifact and arguably the best two-handed weapon in the game, in my opinion. The reason why it's so powerful is its enchantment. It absorbs stamina. The reason why this is so important is because power attacking only requires 1 stamina to initiate. If you keep absorbing stamina every single hit, you will always have stamina to spend on a power attack. This means infinite power attacks. Its base damage is 25, which means it's just as strong as an ebony warhammer. With all of this combined, you could definitely make a case that Volendrung is one of the best two-handed weapons in the entire game, let alone the best Daedric artifact on this list. If you've enjoyed the video, or perhaps learned something new, feel free to like the video. I'll be making Skyrim content just like this, so if you want to see more, consider subscribing so that you won't miss future uploads. Also, comment down below if you think any changes should be made to this list. As always, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.